Welcome back, Ink Chasers, to another Q&A Wednesday. Today's Q&A is me. Today is my 100th episode for Q&A. So, why not do something fun for number 100, right? Let's talk about me. Alright, just a little bit about me. I've been doing YouTube for a little over 3 years now. I've been collecting cards since I can remember. I remember 1982 Tops being the earliest that collected with my dad. I've been collecting autographs around that time and after. I remember my first TTM was in 1989. Yeah, I've had some lull periods, and I've had some periods where I've gone crazy and you know doing hundreds out a month. But yeah, let's get to these questions here. All right, number one. What is your favorite stadium you played in? Well, I'm not a player, so I haven't ever officially played. I guess I would do like that. Um, Me and Daniel played or played at the Dr. Pepper ballpark where the Frisco Rough Riders play. We get to go out on the field and play catch and play around on there a lot whenever there's baseball. So I would say that's the nicest field I've played on. I've been on the now old Ranger Stadium, the ballpark. Been on the field, really hadn't played on it, um, but let's go with favorite stadiums in general. Um, for basketball and hockey, I've only been to two stadiums. They're both the same, but the Mavericks and the Stars played. That was Reunion Arena and American Airlines Center. By far, American Airlines Center was way better than Reunion Arena, so that gets it for both of them. Football, I've been to the Cowboys, the older stadium, and the new one. So obviously the AT&T, the new stadium, is the better of them. For baseball, Major League, I've been to the two Rangers, Arlington Stadium and the ballpark. I have not been to the newest stadium since there's no games yet. Been by it, seen a lot of pictures. They didn't need to get rid of the other stadium, but this one doesn't look too bad. So, and I've also went to a game in Oakland, the Oakland Coliseum. Um, I would say favorite stadium that I've been in to watch a game would definitely be the ballpark in Arlington or Globe Life Park or whatever it was, the second stadium for the Rangers. Um, Minor league park, best one definitely Frisco Rough Riders, Dr. Pepper Ballpark. I've been to a couple different stadiums, and that stadium, there's a reason it keeps getting voted best in the league. All right, number two. Who was the inspiration for you to play baseball? I don't really play baseball, but I'll just say my dad was my inspiration that I like baseball. We always watch and go to games together. But for YouTube, my inspiration would definitely be Caleb Craig over at Caleb's Cards. Number three. If I did not play baseball, what would I be doing for a living? Well, what I do for a living right now, well, technically I'm unemployed until this pandemic thing gets over to where I can get back to work. I work from home, and what I do is I schedule mystery shops. But because everything's closed down and a lot of the states, I had over 20 states that I cover. So our company is temporarily down until this all starts coming back. So hopefully soon. Number four. Um, when you're not playing, what do you do in your free time? Well, when I'm not YouTubing, I guess. What do I do in my free time? I like writing TTMs and doing my collecting. But other than that sort of stuff, I have other hobbies and collecting that I do. I love playing with my kids. We go to the park. We go play Pokemon Go, hang out with the family. Try to clean the house as much as I can. All right, number 5. What is your favorite book? Okay, this one's kind of tough. One of the thing, I guess, another thing I do in my free time is read. I do a lot of reading. I actually just purchased a book called Vocal Recall. I'm waiting for it to get here. It is by Neil Ross, legendary voice actor. So definitely looking forward to that one. My favorite author is Stephen King, and probably my favorite book by him would be Needful Things. Go figure, a book about collecting and what you would do to get what you want for your collections. But here's some other top books if you're looking to do something. My definite favorite book about collecting is Troy Rutter's book, Autograph Collecting Secrets. So if you're wanting to know more about collecting, check that out. This is definitely a good one if you're a Rangers fan. Must have. I don't know if they have these out for other sports or other teams, but 100 Things Rangers fans should know before they die. A lot of them I already knew, but it's definitely a good one to check out. If you're like me and like minor league, especially Texas League, this one here, Baseball on the Prairie, basically is like a history of the Texas League and minor leagues and how it got started, and that's another good one. Let's see, sticking with baseball, this is a great one. The Baseball Codes, the Unwritten Rules. Let's see. Another great book is Roadside Baseball. If you're doing any road trips, this is a great one to have because you can go through and see what's in the areas of where you're going, and it's got like stadiums and plaques and just little things here and there all about baseball, little museums for players. Another must-have book is your Zombie Survival Guide. Never know when the zombie apocalypse is going to come out, so take a look at this one. Now, the hardest book I've ever read, and this was after seeing the movie, so I kind of already knew kind of what it's about, but Clockwork Orange. This is the original uncut version. So if you want to read it, it's a good read. There's a lot of stuff they cut out from the movies, but the hard thing about it is they create their own language in the book, and you got to learn it basically. But overall, I guess favorite book of all time, which coincides with the movie, because my favorite movie of all time, the only book I've read multiple times. I think I've read this 3 times, and that's Shoeless Joe, and that is the book form of Field of Dreams. So that is a very long one answer, but that's the answer to my favorite book. Alright, number 6. What, if anything, do you collect? Well, if you go to my collections playlist, you see a big portion of my collections, and I'm definitely, as I go, I'm trying to do more videos, show more of my collections, but those are all basically autograph related. So non-autograph related, I like comics. I mean, you can see comics behind me. We'll go into that here a little more later. But my favorite comics is G.I. Joe. I've got others as well. Maybe I'll do a video on my comics some other time. But I've got all Marvel G.I. Joe from 1 to end. I've got all the Devil's Due products, and then about after that one ended, I have a few after that, but pretty much stopped getting comics because about that time is whenever I started getting married and having kids and less money. But I also collect stamps. I have a pretty big stamp collection. I mean, what better thing to do when you're doing TTMs is collect the stamps that you get when they come back. Alright, number 7. Who taught and helped me the most to become a YouTuber? How about that? Troy over at TTM Autographs has shown me a lot and given me advice, so I would say he's probably the one that's helped me the most at that. I still need a lot of help. um, what is my favorite team? I'm pretty much a homer. As you can see, I love the Rangers and their farm team, the Rough Riders. That's who I go to. They both are. Rangers are about an hour from me, and Rough Riders are like 30 minutes, if traffic's not great. But I would say I don't go to a lot of the other sports, but Mavericks. Been Mavericks games, been Stars games. I do like the Stars. I would say second to baseball would probably be hockey. So then last football. Um, yeah, I would say I guess Cowboys. I don't know. I don't really go to many football games. Who's your favorite player? Okay, let's see. Basketball would have to be Dirk, Nowitzki. Hockey, Mike Modano. Football would be Barry Sanders. Um, Baseball, that's kind of a tough question. Growing up, King Griffey Jr. was my favorite player. Del Murphy, I really liked him, but back then, National League didn't come here unless you were in the playoffs, and that was not the Rangers, so didn't ever get to see him play. Just watch him on TV. Currently, I would say my favorite player is Isaiah Kanafalefo for the Rangers, but my favorite Ranger of all time would be Charlie Huff. I really, really like Jose Trevino. I would say he would be my second favorite player right now, or they're really close together as being top. Mainly just because, and you can see one of my past videos that I've done the full story, but it was more of a personal reason versus being good or not. But the reason somebody's your favorite, just your own reason. And of course, Daniel's favorite is Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo, when he was with the Rough Riders, gave him high fives and was nice to him. And I think that game he hit a home run, and from that point on, Daniel has liked him. So. Alright, and number 10. What is your most memorable game? Well, most memorable that I watched on TV would definitely have to be the Game 6 where they blew the World Series. It's not memorable for a good reason, but it's memorable. But most memorable game that I've gone to would have to be, I believe it was in 94. Whenever the past ballpark opened up. It was their opening season. Me and my dad went to a game, and they were playing the Mariners. Mariners were kind of my team at the time because I love King Griffey Jr. Hey, I was a big fan of his, and I liked the Rangers. It was one of those things where it's like I want the Rangers to win, but I want King Griffey Jr. to do good. Well, he was up, and we were in this little section they called the wedge. It's no longer there. Well, I don't know. They've done a lot to the stadium since, but after that, they took it out. It was just a corner of right field where it was like a little triangle, and you could sit down in there, and they had seats there. We were sitting there, so there's probably maybe 30, 40 people in that little section. And King Griffey Jr. hits a grand slam. And if I believe that was probably my first actual grand slam to see live. And it was by him, and I loved it. I jumped up. I was like cheering. I was turning around looking for a high five from somebody, and everybody was sitting down there quiet. Rangers were getting their butts kicked, and it was against them, but it was my player, so my dad brings that up to me all the time. But hey, that's my questions. I didn't fill it out, so I'm not going to post it up there. I'm just talking to you guys. But let's get to your questions. Okay, AWMS Andrew, you asked, what MLB stadium would you most like to watch a game, especially ones you've never visited? Well, it listed the ones I've visited, so the list of that I haven't visited is very long. I My ultimate goal, I guess you would say, would be go to see a game at all the stadiums. But current stadium that I really want to go to would definitely be Fenway, just because of the history and everything. Um, Stadiums that no longer are around that I would love to would have gone to a game in, definitely original old Yankee Stadium. Um, but probably um, Ebbets Field would be the one that I would want to the most. I know on my MLB The Show, I try to get Ebbets Field all the time, and at that and the old Polo Grounds. But yeah, I would say those are probably the ones that I most want to see. All right, AE Man says, I always wondered what comments are hanging behind you, especially the one that looks like a U-Haul truck. Also, how long have you been collecting? Where do you keep your binders? And how many binders do you think you have? Alright, well, I keep binders right here. I've got a shelf. And right behind the camera, I've got a shelf. I got a shelf over here. And you can see some of those here. Alright, and I mentioned earlier, I've been collecting for a long time. So and let's see, what was it? Oh, the comics behind me. Um, well, let me just show you. So this is the full view of it. These are all G.I. Joe comics. I'm going to go in a little closer so you can see each one individual, but that's the full view of it. Especially sorry about the glare on this. I'm going to try and get these without any glare, but bear with me. First one here is G.I. Joe number 10, page 11. And then I can come over here, and this is, well, a lot of glare. The actual page of it is also G.I. Joe number 10, but page number 17. Now these are the Devil Do Productions run. And then number 15, page 15. Let me see if I can get the light out. Yeah, that's a little better. There's the page for that one. This is from Cobra Reborn, page 16. And then we've got the page of it there. And then this one is from the original Marvel line, number 28, page 29. And then there's the page of that. And then the one that you were asking about is G.I. Joe number 18. There you go. Page 20. Try to block some of this light. Here's the page of that. And G.I. Joe 23, page 5. Right there. And then the last one. Can't remember offhand which book this is. Page 20, obviously. And then page for it. Michael Myers says, loved all your photos at card shows, autograph events, comics, etc. Thank you. Who are your favorite stars athletes to have met or to meet? Maybe top one overall and a 5 or 10 list. Which stars athletes surprised you the most, i.e., you thought they'd be tough, but when you actually a softie, you you thought they'd be mean, but they were actually quite nice. You thought they'd be pretty slash handsome, but they were not. Good question. All right. Let's see. Probably my favorite, and I plan on doing a story time on this. I haven't yet. I've been slacking on my story time videos, but my favorite that I've met and actually didn't get an autograph, the only person I've ever been starstruck on would have been Anthony Hopkins. So, to hear more about that story, watch for story time soon. I think I'm going to go ahead and get that out there. Um, I've met some people who were, I wouldn't say grumpy or mad, just you go on, they just push your stuff down, you sign, and they're just signing and go, sign and go, sign and go. And then I've met some people, really nice people, that would sit and talk with you and hold up a line just with a conversation. Someone like that would be Glenn Shaddix. He was super nice. Virginia Hay, I got a good story about her. I should do a video on that one. Someone that really surprised me, but I didn't get an autograph from this person either because I didn't even know they were going to be there. I went to a concert in a venue where it was a big venue where like big name concert was at, and then there was a little club inside where a friend of mine was playing. We went to go see him play, and we went in early, doing sound checks and stuff, and Kid Rock was in there, and met him, hung out with him, didn't get an autograph because I wasn't expecting it, him to be there or anything. Didn't have anything, didn't even have a pen or anything. But he was really nice. I was very surprised about that, down to earth. Who did I think was pretty or handsome was actually not. Well, I won't say. I'll just say I was a little surprised when I met Gaylord Perry. Wasn't expecting, but I don't really judge on people's looks. When I was happy to meet in person would be Mercedes McNabb. A few things that I had seen her in. She was just a child actress at the time, Addams Family 1 and 2. But she was real nice. All right. Kim Williams says, or asks, Chase, that's great to get to know you, get to know more about you, my friend. My question would be, out of all of your TTMs and Q&As, what are your favorites and why? Some of the ones that are hard to find and you get, or some of the ones that you search hard to find an address, especially if it's a private address, it's always good to get. It's always great to complete, like multi-signed cards like this one. It's got Ed Romero, Kevin Bass, and Ned Yost. All those are signed TTM. As far as Q&As, it's kind of the same. I'm happy to get any of them. A lot of them have the same question, a lot of same answers. Not a whole lot of them stand out, but my favorite would definitely be this one. And that one's from Scott, Reindeer Studios, just because he took it on his own to send it to me. I wasn't expecting it, and I don't know, it's just, that's my favorite Q&A. Alright, that's it for the Q&A for today. I know this one's way longer than most of my other Q&As. Check back next week for the next Q&A of someone who actually worthy of a video. But check my playlist for all past Q&As, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.